Forged from the love of liberty in the fires of hope and prayer, with boundless faith in our destiny, we solemnly declare, side by side we stand, islands of the blue Caribbean Sea, this our native land. We pledge our lives to thee. Here every creed and race find an equal place, and may God bless our nation. Here every creed and race find an equal place, and may God bless our nation.
Heavenly Father, we come before you at the start of this new day, giving thanks for life, for health, and the opportunity to serve through this station. We ask for your divine presence to guide us in all we do. Bless this broadcast, that it may be a source of inspiration, joy, and unity to all who tune in. Whether near or far, may our words uplift, our music heal, and our message bring light to those who need it most. We pray for our listeners wherever they may be. Grant them strength for the day ahead, peace in their hearts, and success in all they put their hands to. Cover those traveling with your protection and those at home with your comfort and provision. Lord, may everything we do bring honor to you and be a blessing to others. Guide our steps, bless our efforts, and let this station be a vessel of positivity and hope. In your name we pray. Amen.
Your voice, your soundtrack, your station. New Era TT Radio. NETT Radio.
But I stood up strong with political songs. It's not my fault, I write from my heart what I see happening around me. Since I sing political cemetery, not a walk for me, and for Kamala where she should always be. My tribe turn on me, they want me to big up Dr. Rowley, says the best prime minister I ever see. For 10 years the real take good care of we, and everyone in Trinidad was damn happy. They want me to lie, tell lies. They want me to lie, 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 lie. I'm not lying to favor nobody. All the wickedness they have done to me, because I stood up for the UNC, they blacklist me. They want me to lie, tell lies. They want me to lie, 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 lie. Even my calypso fraternity, just for money, they turn their back on me. Some say that I should not sing them song. Who was in power, I will never get a crown. But the truth does not wear a crown. That is where they're wrong. Victimization for every song. As I forge along, sing tears in the sun, one moment glory. Not even skin apart they put in me. If they do, to go and go get money. So like Judas, they sacrifice. They want me to lie, tell lies. They want me to lie, care what they say. If I had power, you going to stay right there. You are a woman with dignity. As far as I can see, you have love for this country. You fought through insult and humiliation, stood with conviction and show the world who is a real woman. Woman among man, one stood on a mic, was talking about you. Say you're going in the toilet to do your do. That same fella went down in history as the shortest prime minister we ever see. They want me to lie, tell lies. They want me to lie, 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 lie. I'm not lying to favor nobody. All the wickedness they have done to me, because I stood up for the UNC. They blacklist me. They want me to lie, tell lies. They want me to lie, 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 lie. Our culture should never be a phrase. In this Queen Island, both is Indian, African. Celebrate each other religion. Eat Diwali, even emancipation. But what I see happen recently here in this country, politicians trying to divide we, and that shouldn't be. I always love what my anthem say. Every creed and race here should have a place. So what if come live an East Indian? We doing a better job running this island. They want me to lie, tell lies. They want me to lie, lie, lie.
Wake up, rise up. It's the NETT Radio Breakfast Show. Bringing you the energy, music and vibes to start your day right.
They blacklist me. They want me to lie, tell lies.
Well, they say the truth will always set you free, right? It might be a tough road to walk after that, but hey. Good morning, everybody, and of course, welcome to it. Good to have you here. Yeah, you're wondering where here is, right? It is NETT Radio, the heartbeat of the Caribbean, and of course, yes, we take you above and beyond. Thank you so much for making us your choice each and every day. As always, I want to say much thanks to the Heavenly Father for bringing us together for another day. And all that we do, dear God, let it be a blessing on to you. Trinidad and Tobago, good morning. Neighbors in the Caribbean, good morning. Friends who are streaming all around the globe, different time slots, spaces, and weather conditions. Good day to you. Thanks for being here. Sir Charles said, that is me. Happy am I to be here with you on NETT Radio, NETT Radio. I'm even a little more happier because you know what? This is your Get Up and Go to welcome everybody inside of the Breakfast Show.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Wake up, it's a brand new dawn. The Breakfast Show got the vibes turned on. From Maracas Bay to the Savannah line, let's start the day in Caribbean prime. Good vibes rolling through the air. The Breakfast Show, energy everywhere. We talk, we laugh, we make you think. Grab your doubles or your morning drink.
Uh-oh, guess what day it is? Guess what day it is? Huh? Anybody? Julie, hey, guess what day it is? Oh, come on, I know you can hear me. Mike. What day is it, Mike? Leslie, guess what today is?
It's hump day.
Woo-hoo!
Woohoo!
So good morning, guys, and good morning to our listeners and viewers wherever you are, and welcome to the Breakfast Show on this Wednesday morning. I'm coming straight to the end of January, actually, in the final days of January 2026. So good morning to you, or good afternoon, or good evening, or good night, wherever you are across the planet. Welcome to the Breakfast Show. We know you have choices in what you listen to, and we are glad you chose us. And good morning to my co-hosts, Wendell and Sir Charles. Good morning, guys.
Woohoo! Yeah, man. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Wendell. Good morning, Richard. Good morning to the world.
Good morning, Sir Charles. Good morning, Richard. Good morning, Trinidad and Tobago, and good morning, listeners and viewers all over the globe. It's a beautiful Wednesday morning in Trinidad and Tobago. Condolences to those who would have lost loved ones, and happy birthday to, well, some of our listeners, actually, people celebrating birthdays today. David S. Simpson, Richard Russell, Nadine Stewart Phillips, Jimmy Bruce, Deborah Norrie, Doreen Roberts Bain, Claudette Jordan John, who is the mother of Senator Janelle John Bates. Morning, Claudette, and happy birthday. And of course, my neighbor and my friend, Norris Ferguson, who is celebrating his birthday today. Happy birthday, Norris. Happy birthday, Claudette in particular, because I know for sure two of you are listening. All right? Have an absolutely wonderful day.
Yeah. Let me say happy birthday also to Tiffany Chance. Good morning to you, Tiffany. I want to wish you a great birthday today.
All right.
Today's the 28th, isn't it?
Whole day today if rain doesn't fall.
29. Right, when rain falls, it doesn't be the 28th anymore.
No.
But it becomes...
Changes days. Because...
It becomes what?
You never hear that saying?
No.
My God, where are you from?
Trinidad.
You gotta be crazy.
I already haven't heard that either, but...
You never hear that?
No.
And when rain falls, what the date changes?
You never heard this saying that it is when somebody asks, like how you asked just now, is today the 20th? And I would say once, yes, all day today rain, unless rain falls.
Wow.
That makes no sense.
A lot of old people saying didn't make sense, you know, Richard. You know that?
No, most of them do. I would be credit that to St. James, where people drink a lot. So,
yeah,
that's a bad saying in St. James. Yeah, that would be famous saying. So we leave it there. You know, everybody debate it.
But good morning, Trinidad and Tobago. I think yesterday was a red letter day. I haven't looked at the Parliament channel for a long time, and I looked at it yesterday. I looked at that winding up of the debate, the committee stage. I missed the vote because I switched to Jeopardy. I'm a Jeopardy fanatic, I have to tell you. And by the time I switched back, I said, what happened here? Did they go for another break? Only to get a message, bam, from a former independent senator about the vote. I said, what? I said, don't make joke, because my interpretation of what I was seeing and hearing during the committee stage and so on is that the government seemed very certain that they were going to get this vote passed. The level of arrogance permeating from the Attorney General yesterday was kind of astounding. I mean, in his winding up, whilst, I mean, John Jeremy is a cool, calm character, if you know his persona, right? He kind of cool and calm. He doesn't raise his voice and things like that, right? But I mean, he was not open. Sorry?
I said, unlike you on Searcher. But go on.
But yesterday, I mean, in winding up, I mean, he was throwing barbs across the floor. He didn't want to entertain certain people and their contributions. Wouldn't refer to it. Tahaka Ubika was what? He said, I'm not referring to him. He didn't refer, he kind of almost insulted, for want of a better word, former Attorney General Faris Al-Rari, and said that, you know, he probably need to do some refresher courses in constitutional law. All that he said. And then he said at the end of his winding up that the government is not open, not entertaining any amendments. And when they went to committee stage now and they sat down and, I mean, going through clause by clause, was dealing with amendments. So Faris Al-Rari said, would it make sense us going through this because the government has already indicated they're not entertaining any amendments? Anyway, they still went through it clause by clause. The government got their way in voting down the amendments because some independent senators withdrew their amendments, like Dr. Marlene Natz. She withdrew hers. A couple others, Mr. De Labastide, he withdrew his. Mr. Vera, however, articulated his, and Dr. Desiree Murray articulated hers, and Ms. Lalit. and Faris Al-Rari, of course, articulated quite a bit of amendment. So it's not to say that the opposition and the independent senators didn't try. I think it's important to know that they didn't try to work with the government for the passing of the Zoso bill. You understand? They tried. And a lot of their amendments made sense. A lot of their proposed amendments made sense.
Because it included some level of oversight, or something like a sunset clause, which a lot of people have called for.
Yes.
Because people understand, what the bill does. People are not operating in a vacuum of intelligence. With no intelligence, they're looking at the bill and saying, look, there needs to be some oversight, which is what we would have discussed from the time the bill came out and we started to discuss it here.
Well, I was about to give you the credit too, Richard, because you made a presentation of certain things that they could do, because you outright said you're not in favor of it, but at the same time you presented some amendments that they could consider. Mm-hmm. So I'm saying, but I get the impression, because I was chatting back and forth with somebody who was sitting in the parliament, and I got the impression that this thing going to pass. That's how it started to feel, that this thing is going to pass. And so I was kind of really taken aback when eventually I got the message that 8 of the 9 independent senators voted against it. And of course, Senator McNish abstained. Now, I don't want to say what kind of information come to me on that senator, but I won't even repeat it on radio. But however, he had made up in his presentation in the parliament, he had taken up certain position and then abstained. Vote for it. If that is the position you took in your presentation, vote for the bill. Don't abstain. So it was a kind of coward way out.
Yeah, but I don't. I mean, you're entitled to abstain, and if you want, and which of course a previous independent senator we knew has done from time to time. Mm-hmm. But I think what was kind of a death. There are 2 death knells, I think, to that bill in Parliament yesterday. One was the killing of Joshua Samaru, and what played out before the eyes of citizens of Trinidad and Tobago. And despite whatever narrative the Commissioner of Police wanted to paint on it, we saw the video. And I think it was Senator Vera? I think it was him that they interviewed before going into the chamber, and he referenced a comparison to what was taking place in Minneapolis. That you're seeing a video that is clear and went viral, not only across Trinidad and Tobago, I'm sure it went viral across the world. But the narrative was different. And as I said, no politician came out and was outraged about it, which we mentioned yesterday. And the Prime Minister said something to the effect that they should wear body cameras and wait for the investigation, which is not outrage.
Yeah.
The second thing that I think killed the bill, because that shows what police power is capable of doing. And the second was the arrogance with which the government approached the issue. From the time you say you're not entertaining amendments, you're taking an arrogant stance.
Yes.
Right? And I think that in itself, because you said you're not entertaining any amendments, and you're right, Wendell, a lot of the amendments made logical or intellectual sense.
Yes.
In terms of whatever kind of oversight, whatever kind of constraints. And a lot of people, and which was a point I would try to make a lot of times when we discuss this bill, it's about the position having the power. It wasn't about who in position right now, which is what I have been at pains to say. It's about that position having that kind of power to just call that on whatever evidence for which there was no oversight on whether the evidence justified the calling of those zones or not.
Yeah.
Because the police, by default, generally would love not to have to get warrants and not to be constrained by the Constitution. They shouldn't be, but obviously the TTPS has a default position where they prefer that.
Yes.
Right? And it brings you back to, I guess, there's a Proverbs on it, you know. Help me here, Wendell. You're on Sir Charles, you're supposed to know the Bible. I think it was Proverbs, is it Proverbs 16, 18? That deals with arrogance. That pride goes before destruction.
Before a fall, yes.
And a haughty spirit before a fall.
Yes.
And I think it's Proverbs 16, 18. But all is supposed to know this of the hand more than me, yeah?
Hold on.
And it was reflected yesterday that in a bill where obviously, read the room. Mm-hmm. Obviously, citizens were outraged across party lines about how the killing of Joshua Samaru took place. And you have this bill that is giving a certain amount of power to the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service and being authorized on the recommendation of one person in a particular kind of way with no oversight for 180 days.
Yeah.
And you're going to make that law. You're not always going to be in that position.
Yes. So it is Proverbs 16:18, Richard. Pride goeth before destruction, and an haughty spirit before a fall.
Right. So see, remember that.
Mm-hmm.
But
and you know the old saying, whom the gods wish to destroy, they first make mad. And that's how you come. I'm just drawing a simple analogy there, because I had found the Attorney General, and I have to tip my hat to Dr. Amy Brown, because when he was speaking in Parliament yesterday, it was clear that an attempt to derail him was how I should put it, obvious, because every time he started to speak, somebody jumped up and interrupted him on some what they call the terms as standing orders. They jumping up on. And I have to tip my hat also to Wade Mark, President of the Senate, for dealing with the government bench in some instances and saying, listen, I am in charge here. You don't, because a senator shouted at Dr. Brown across the floor, sit down. And Wade Mark have to get up and deal with that particular senator. You understand? But it's clear that they were trying to derail him, because every minute somebody getting up and saying something. You understand? And he kept his nerve and continued to speak. You understand? So, but politics and
you guys got up firing ASAP. So let's get into our good news and then do our greetings and everything else and come back to it.
Yeah.
In Trinidad and Tobago, thousands of families face the emotional and financial burden of end-of-life care. Many struggle, many suffer silently, but one woman decided that no family should walk that journey alone.
When I founded the Live Health Charitable Foundation in 2021, I wanted to change the way we care for people, not just in sickness, but through life's most vulnerable moments. As doctors, we often meet people at the end. We see the fear, the pain, the loneliness families face. And it became very clear to me there was a gap in our healthcare system. In Trinidad and Tobago, many families can't afford palliative care. Access is limited. Too often, people pass away in pain or families carry the burden alone. I couldn't accept that. No one should suffer because they can't pay for comfort.
And so, the Live Health Charitable Foundation was born, the first charitable service in Trinidad and Tobago offering access to home-based palliative and end-of-life care.
This foundation exists so that every person, no matter their circumstance, can have dignity in their final days, so they can be at home, surrounded by love, peace, comfort, and honor. We support patients with medical care, pain and symptom management, emotional and spiritual support, and guidance for their families and community. We walk with them every step of the way. My purpose, our purpose, is simple: to bring dignity, to bring compassion, and to ensure that Trinidad and Tobago, every life ends with comfort and every family and community feels supported. And that's why I started the Live Health Charitable Foundation. And that is why we will continue.
Join us. Support a family. Give comfort. Give dignity. The Live Health Foundation.
All right, so that was our good news segment for this morning. And at this point, I suppose, so many institutions doing great work in the country, and sometimes they don't get, the
recognition they deserve.
Recognition about what they do, and in making life for citizens better. Well, we can go to greeting people in the stream at this point.
Yes, Valerie Mendoza came in first this morning. Margaret Thomas, Odell Guy, Ava Smith, Eunice Dublin, Boy Bidesi, Erica Charles, Wendy Ann and Frank James, Marlon Motley, Apollinaus, Diane Payne, Kenny and Harlem. This is Norris Ferguson. Good morning, manager TTU is Norris Ferguson, and he's having an absolutely happy birthday today. Courtesy Laurelie. Laurelie, I know you're up early.
Oh, today's Norris' birthday?
Today's Norris's birthday, yeah.
Oh, okay. Happy birthday, Norris.
Yeah. Pamela Grimshaw, beautiful birthday blessings to my dear friend Margarita Chow. Oh, today's Margarita Chow's birthday also. Okay.
Yeah, happy birthday, Margarita.
Happy birthday, Margarita. Sherwin and Juliet Kerr. Ian Stewart says good morning to all. It's hump day. Victor Philip, good morning to Charles, Richard, and Wendell. Carla Hercules, Melissa Nelson Arthur from Champlain, Robert Taylor, Carol Guevara, Kathy Ann Charles, and Arlene in Bronxville. Guy, Wendy, and you're right, because I've been sending that message in the chat too, because as we speak, I'm looking at it. It says program temporarily unavailable. I don't know what's going on there. So our apologies to our viewers on Gael for not coming on as yet. There's a problem with Gael apparently. Brennan Smith, good morning to the breakfast team. Rena Jennings, Merle McComey, Raymond Piggott, that's a new name. Good sense prevail. He's praising the independent senators. Julia Samantha, Ingrid from Tucson, Gavin Frank, this Calypsonian Heads. Oh gosh, who's that? Debbie Modest, Joyce Phillip, CJ from New York, or sends her condolences again also to Zena. Susie B, Lyndon Williams, Robert Harper, Robert Alain, Helen Prescott, Mrs. R, David Ware say he also says that a lot, Richard, that's saying a lot, and he's from St. James. He also I also say that saying a lot, and I'm from St. James.
Yes, St. James.
St. James, and this is a St. James thing.
Yeah, that proves it now. That's it.
Well, I'm not gonna say I thought David was contradicting you, but he just helping you. David McCarthy, Michael Cadet, Florence Bazi, Marlon Motley says yes, it's Proverbs 16:18. Marlon, your picture, you look like a little church boy, Mom, that picture. Nicola McNichols, I just joking, Marlon. Robert Harper, thank you, Richard. The inability to sense the concerns people genuinely had was maddening. Victor Phillips says time for proportional representation. That's not going to happen. Jennifer says Carlisle Cupid, Bernadette and Alicia Yates, Doreen Pierre, Richard M. Jeremiah, Sherma Paul, Scorpion Pepper, Ambrose Blah out there in New York, who the independent senators prove you wrong, boy, Mr. Blah. Because they all voted against, 8 voted against the bill and 1 abstained. Happy birthday to my godson, Chevon Wells of Valencia. That's coming from Carol Guevara. So happy birthday, Chevon. It's a great day, Zoso Nutted. I was on edge watching that last night. That's who says Scorpion Pepper. Andre Reno says good morning. And Scorpion Pepper said that video of the vote should have been the good news segment today. I did send it in the chat, but I don't know if those guys and them have it ready for you all. but we should show it actually. You know, you're absolutely right.
I don't know if the Jazz had it. I didn't I didn't actually know that you sent it in the group. I saw it on Facebook.
Yeah, I sent it in the chat. I don't make joke with things, you know, brother. I also sent the kind of kicksy, funny contribution from Senator McNish, also, who at the end of it all abstained. I sent a brief clipping of his contribution. I
didn't see that.
And then I sent the British Prime Minister, Keir Starmer, who he was absolutely funny. After he counted how much prime ministers and how much different mayors and things they changed. Though that video is funny. I have to play that one too. All right, so that's it for the greetings in the chat.
All right, so the people on the WhatsApp, let me say good morning to Kent. He came in very early again, reclaiming his space. To Sankofa, good morning to you. Chris A. Toussaint out there in Nigeria. And Mr. Billy, out the magazine. Peter Wilson, good morning. Frank in Aruka. Carlin and Kelly out there in Caranage. Zena, good morning to you. And Zena, would like to say thanks to everybody for their support and well wishes. Thank you very much, Zena. Mr. Beeps, good morning to you. And of course, Shabin out there in New York also. Everybody is locked on. And you'll look to see what is going on with that guy. I'll feed for all you people, all right? In the meantime, we are going for the break. All they get ready to sing. All they need to sing today, right? Coming back.
Hey, you. Yes, you. I'm talking to you. So you think I can sing, huh? Well, then be part of our Carnival Karaoke. You know what? I don't like that name. Let's call it Carnival Karaoke. Carnival Karaoke. We'll call it Karaoke. Yeah, so you can be part of our Carnival Karaoke on the Breakfast Show on New Era TT Radio. Yep, it's happening Monday to Friday at 7:50 a.m. starting Monday the 19th of January, and all you have to do is sing a verse and a chorus of your favorite calypso, soca, chutney, old or new. Just sing it good, and you could be our karaoke singer, our champion for 2026. We're taking 2 contestants every day, and we're choosing one winner whose name will go into the championship box. And on Carnival Friday, the 13th of February, we'll have a grand draw for the karaoke champion on the Breakfast Show. The first ever prizes. Well, don't worry about that. You'll get something. Just come and sing and be part of our Carnival Karaoke on the Breakfast Show and New Era TT Radio. Sing, the man, sing.
Jump into savings at Furniture Plus. Enjoy up to 40% off in-store and online. Find amazing deals on furniture, appliances, mattresses, and more. Plus extra discounts on credit plans and free gifts with select purchases. Save more at Furniture Plus today.
This carnival, the seas are calling. Production Sounds and Ace Limers Entertainment presents Foreign Exchange. Foreign Exchange. A carnival season boat ride like no other.
I wanna be somewhere where the music is.
Sunday, February 8th, 2026. Hearts Cut, Shakarama.
Step aboard the Ocean Pelican and experience where soca meets the open water.
Boarding 7 p.m. Sailing 8 p.m. Music by Production Sounds. D.O.C. Kevin Baker. Beats by Robin, Young Pro, and Bounty the Voice. DJ Eldon, and featuring International Steven, all the way from the U.S.
Tier 1 tickets, $250. Tier 2 tickets, $300. Cooler included. No glass bottles allowed. Get your tickets now at islandetickets.com or call 29218-4747.
Sunday, February 8th, 2026. Hearts Cut, Shakaramas. Foreign Exchange.
Over there with your bad energy.
Advertise with us on New Era TT Radio, the fastest growing streaming platform for talk in Trinidad and Tobago. Audio and video ads welcome. Elevate your brand with us. Connect with us at newerattradio@yahoo.com or call us at 299-5156. Now what are you waiting for?
S&H Rum Box, 137 Western Main Road, St. James, for all your retail and wholesale needs for alcohol and non-alcoholic beverages. Call us at 686-0599 or visit us at 137 Western Main Road, St. James. S&H Rum Box, drinking out of the box.
We are back, and of course, we're going to get straight into the headlines of the newspapers, but allow me to just greet a couple more people in the chat. Anthony Tinto out there in Toronto. Prabha Ramdial, good morning. I think your mom celebrated her birthday recently, Ms. Ramdial, so belated birthday greetings to her. James Purcell, oh Lord, look who joined this chat. Look trouble now. Morning, James. And of course, Slick Money Grip joining us on the chat this morning. All right, our apologies again to the people who are waiting on Gael, but join us on YouTube because Gael's channel is not yet on this morning. All right, so today's Express: Zoso bill collapses in Senate after independents voted down. Woman allegedly buys $45,000 in Fed tickets with bounce checks. Oh, people still writing bounce checks. Before they vanished, Chad and Rishi planned their return home, and Chad and Rishi were two people who had went out apparently to fish, and they were blown out of the water by one of those strikes that the US did on alleged drug boats. Legendary NAPS college principal dies, and that's Dr. Alan McKenzie, passed away. Condolences. WPC draws firearm as robbers strike in Laventille. And of course, TCL prices set to rise. That's one of the biggest stories in today's Express Online. All right, cement prices could rise in the coming weeks if a proposed increase in natural gas price for manufacturers is approved. All right, so be mindful of that, right? Because you know this is the season for construction. As we go into the dry season here, a lot of people are doing construction and renovations and so on. So just be mindful of that. Go and buy a cement now.
Now is the time.
Yeah. All right, so that's the Express.
All right, so I'll do the news day for this morning. Guy, that's still off, right, Wendell?
Yes, it's still off.
Yeah. High Court to rule on ex-CTFA marketing director's unpaid fees claim. U.S. lawsuit alleges Trinidadian men were unlawfully killed. Son's claim to fishing vessel dismissed in bitter family dispute. Chagona's laborer cleared of 2015 cocaine trafficking charge, and 3 freed of 2009 murder near Navaditi, a basketball court. TCL warns price hike coming. Families of Trinidadian fishermen killed in U.S. missile strike sue U.S. government. And all right, well, that's just a repetition of it. High Court dismisses nurses' sick leave lawsuit. And well, they're just referencing again, TCL warns price hike. It's coming. And so that's it for the news day this morning. Over to you on The Guardian, Sir Charles.
All right, so in The Guardian, not in favor, Zoso bill fails. 8 independents, 6 opposition vote against. PM, I am not surprised the bill was defeated. Budo warns Zoso bill gives PM executive powers. Teachers stick out. Twitter denies knowledge of action as wage dispute leads to protests. All right. Newsleaf formally ceases all operations, and union backs cops call not to suspend officers in fatal St. Augustine police shooting. I suppose that's the 2nd Division Union, right? And yeah, that is in The Guardian for today. Some of the many, many stories.
All right. Well, I mean, at this point, we can open up the lines, I guess.
Yeah, well,
we do have a guest. We do have a guest in the second hour. Just for a brief, quick interview. He was a temporary senator in the parliament with the Zoso bill. That's former senator. He was a former UNC senator, and he sat on the PNM bench as an independent, as a senator also temporarily. Tahaka Obika, he'll be our guest briefly in the second hour, because somehow or the other he came in for special mention from the Attorney General in terms of not responding to his presentation. So we'll be very interested to hear from Tahaka Obika in the second hour. All right.
All right. So I think this is how they voted, right?
Yeah.
Mrs. Roberts Rajman? No. Mr. Cummings?
No.
Mrs. John Bates?
No.
Mr. Bulu?
No.
Mr. Vieira SC?
No.
Ms. Choate SC?
No.
Dr. Axe?
No.
Mr. De La Bastide SC?
No.
Ms. Joan Simmons?
No.
Mr. Lewis?
No.
Dr. Murray?
No.
Mrs. Lalit Etienne?
No.
Mr. McNish?
Abstain.
Honorable Senators, as a result of the division, 15 members voted for the bill, 14 members voted against the bill, and there was one abstention. The bill has not been approved.
And the word no never resonated around social media like it did yesterday after that vote. If you didn't know there was a word such as no, you found out yesterday. You understand? Everybody posted those results. Of course,
this bill particularly had a lot of traction in terms of public involvement.
Yeah.
In that people followed it.
Yes.
You know, a lot of bills don't really get that kind of traction. Even 3/5 majority, sometimes, you know, people not really paying attention, but they paid attention this time around.
Yes.
At least that's the sense that you get.
Yes, you're right. I think they did. You know?
A lot of people were following it.
Dr. Desiree Murray, I don't know. I've never heard of her before. I don't know where she's from or what is her expertise. But she also proposed amendments yesterday in the committee stage. And if you notice, she was the only one who hesitated on her vote when they did the vote. Because as I say, I thought that the independent bench and even the opposition members tried to propose certain amendments that they could have supported. You understand? Because as I said, at one point in time, I was messaging the person. I said, "Oh, this bill pass it." That's the impression I got. I said, even the opposition in their amendments gave the impression that they had no problem with it. Of course, they had proposed, how I should put it, a Zoso bill back in 2017 that the Attorney General referred to, that they didn't move forward on. You know what I mean? So in their mind, I guess in the former AG's mind, that is Faris Al-Rari, something needed to be done. In other words, to get that kind of. But as you said, I think the death knell for this bill was that shooting in St. Augustine and the Dublin and I should put it, the response from the Commissioner of Police.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think the TTPS was the what is it called? And the 10th man in the room.
Yeah, they helped scuttle that bill.
That's the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service. So.
Yes.
All they shoot the bill in the foot.
Yeah, they shoot their own self in the foot.
All they give the bill 19 bullets.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Richard?
That's a way of putting it.
Let me fashion. So why don't you take calls? Let me try to get a poll up and run it.
Yeah, while you're trying to organize the poll, let us know what did you know segment, and then we'll get into the quotes.
People like to pretend that Britain handled race better than the US. Less violent, more civilized, more polite. That story falls apart the moment you learn about Frank Critchlow. He wasn't a politician, he wasn't a theorist, he wasn't asking for access. He was a Caribbean immigrant who opened a restaurant, and that restaurant scared the British state. Frank Critchlow was born in Trinidad and moved to London in the 1950s. In 1968, he opened up the Mangrove restaurant in Notting Hill. And let's be clear about what the Mangrove actually was. It served Caribbean food. You know, the kind that people from home recognize immediately. Rice and peas, curries, fried food, stews. Hot food, working class food. The kind that keeps people sitting, talking, and staying. And that matters, because the Mangrove wasn't just a place to eat. It was a place where Black people gathered, where activists, artists, writers, and everyday folks just talked freely. Politics didn't need a podium, it happened over plates. And that's when the police started coming. They raided the Mangrove over and over again. Not once, not twice, at least a dozen times. No drugs, no weapons, no criminal organizations that ever held up. Just food, people, and conversation. Police said they were keeping the neighborhood safe. What they really meant was this. Black people, sitting together, eating together, organizing and thinking out loud made them nervous. So Frank Critchlow did something that Britain wasn't prepared for. He fought back. In 1970, after yet another police raid, Frank and other activists organized a protest. The police arrested 9 people and they called them criminals. History remembers them as the Mangrove 9. And here's where the story changes, because instead of playing polite in court, they defended themselves. They exposed police harassment. They forced the court to hear about institutional racism, years before Britain was comfortable saying those words. And the judge said it, on the record, that there was evidence of racial hatred within the Metropolitan Police. That was the first time the British court ever admitted it. Frank Critchlow didn't win by being likable. He won by refusing to shut his doors. He showed that British racism wasn't an American import. It was homegrown. And here's the part that some people still miss. The threat was never the menu. It was what happens when people sit down, eat together, and start telling the truth. That's why the police kept coming back. And that's why Frank Critchlow kept opening the Mangrove anyway. So when people say Britain did it differently, remember Frank Critchlow. Politeness didn't protect him, organization did. Pressure did. And the refusal to pretend the problem wasn't real. Say his name. Frank Critchlow.
You know, this is a one-of-a-kind show, right? You all know that, right? Are you all aware of that?
Because you're in it?
not that alone. but because of the entertainment and education we provide for people and information.
I guess. You know, interestingly, I don't know if you know this, there's a series called Small Acts on Prime Video. I think it's on Prime Video. And it's a series of short, well, not shorts, of kind of small movies of different lengths, maybe an hour and stuff like that. And there is an episode called Mangrove, which documents the story of Frank Critchlow and that restaurant, and it's dramatized in that series on Prime Video. Mm-hmm. With Trinidadian, some I suppose British Trinidadian actors and stuff like that. But it's a series called Small Acts. It actually has several Caribbean stories in it. And Mangrove is the title of that episode, which documents the Frank Critchlow story and the story of Mangrove in England.
Okay.
And they have the whole court scene and everything. They did the court scene where they were before the court and the policeman. There was a particular policeman who was quite racist and was very anti-Mangrove. And got his comeuppance, so to speak, in court.
Yeah.
You know, so So it's interesting. So when I saw the video, I was like, oh, okay, I know the story because I'd watched that episode.
Right.
Yeah.
So we can open the lines now, folks. 2811-315-299-5156. We'll take a few of your calls. Of course, we will do the poll. And then when we come back after, we'll speak briefly with Tahaka Obika, and then we'll get into karaoke, of course.
Yeah,
but before the end of the week...
Somebody, just not meaning to interrupt you, but doing it anyway, Wendell. Penelope Spencer is telling me that TV6 and Gael are off. And she doesn't know, she doesn't know why both of them are off. And so I don't know if it's a flow thing. A flow issue, or if it is Gael showing on any channel, because you have flow too, right?
Yes, I have flow. But Gael has their own channel?
Yeah, I don't know if Gael is showing on, maybe if it's a flow issue or if it's not a flow issue, I don't know. I suppose people in the stream can tell us if they're on another cable platform whether Gael is showing on another.
Let me look at TV6 and see.
Yeah. Or you can check Amplify also.
You're right, TV6 is also off.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know if it's a flow problem or if it's a studio problem with regard to a transmitter problem with regard to TV6 and Gael at the same time, which seems unusual.
Yeah.
All right, so we are going to the lines. We're taking your calls. Caller, good morning to you. Welcome.
Good morning, Sir Charles.
Morning, Dabity.
Good morning, Richard. Richard, I'm picking you up this morning. Good morning to you, our learned attorney. Good morning again, Richard. And we're going to call you.
Morning, Miss Val.
Yeah, that's now. My sister called me 6:10 this morning, and she said, I'm not seeing TV6, I'm not seeing Gael. You get into watch the show? I have digital, but I also watch it on YouTube. So I told her, go on YouTube and to type anything and get it. Don't ask me nothing, because you'll get everything from that. But Gael and is all the air from Flow. Right? So a lot of people are getting to see you all this morning.
Yeah.
Yes. Anyway, I think the downfall of this bill came from the Attorney General, who was very arrogant, who was his body language alone. He doesn't speak loudly, he doesn't do too much thing, but his body language alone for me said it all. And apparently he wants to run down the clock. January 31st is 3 days from now, 72 hours. And we need to get something in place. And I was saying, like, they have something in mind for this country. We're so determined to get something in place just after the SOE ends. And, when I think that he said that he's not going to deal with the amendments, I said, that is it. And when Paris was saying his amendments and they're voting it off, saying no to it, and when the doctor asked, withdrew hers, I was very vexed. They're going to lose. And I couldn't wait for that vote. I didn't want to hear nothing else on TV last night other than that. And when Ms. Choate, you saw she reprimanded Mr. Arnold Roberts. That is what he does want in the Senate. And he was too disrespectful. Thank God Wade Mark changing. I figure his age, Wade Mark, first time I have to say thank you very much for not allowing.
He was very good in Parliament yesterday, I have to admit, Wade Mark. He was really good controlling that Senate yesterday.
Okay, thanks very much, Davide. Yeah,
thanks.
Just some
messages. They're saying TV6 is on Digicel, so it has to be a flow issue then. Because
is Gael showing on Digicel?
I don't know. Miss Prescott, is Gael showing on Digicel?
You should get a Gael on either Flow or Amplia.
Oh, well, Carol Guevara.
You don't get Gael on Digicel?
Gael showing on Amplia.
No, they don't. The Gael is not on Digicel. They're on Flow and Amplia.
Oh, I never knew that.
Yeah. Caller, good morning.
Yes, Mr. Charles. How are you going, sir?
I am well, Mr. Patrick. How are you doing?
I do, my Lord. Wendell, morning.
Good morning, Mr. Patrick.
Reason why they see all them things, because the bill didn't pass.
You think so? Nah, man. There had to be a coincidence with technical issues.
They didn't pay the bill. They didn't pay the bill. They didn't pass.
That could be it.
Yeah, boy. You know, I want to congratulate these independent senators for not taking bullying and not taking tactics, you know, gangster tactics, you know. And they did a wonderful thing. But I call them find out. I call them say something. These people realize the price of everything going up again with this gas increase for manufacturers. Look, cement said they're looking to raise the price. You know, cement price gone up, blocks gone up, everything gone up, and to build a house gone up.
Mm-hmm.
Then you build a house, you know the price of a house going up again.
Yeah, but so, where's the manufacturer association?
Well, you realize like everybody free tobacco. you could remember a man said not a dumb dog back.
Not a damn dog back.
Yeah, not a damn dog back. Everybody get quiet by. Nobody protested, nobody said nothing. I want to congratulate the people who went into and protest. Yes, sir? I see some people in town protesting there, yes, sir? I want to congratulate them. But everything in Trinidad reaching to a point where they're going to run this country down straight to the ground, yes, boy. And when Mr. Charles, have a pleasant day.
Okay, no problem. Thanks very much, Mr. Patrick.
I think it's time NETT Radio gets its own television station, yes? I think the time is right. Any sponsors out there? We want our own television station, NETT Radio. Anybody who have a whole lot of stuff stashed away and want to help us out, you're welcome to join, to sponsor us and put a television station.
Caller, good morning.
Good morning to Charles, Richard, and Wendell.
Morning,
you know, it kind of worry me a bit, eh? You have a Senate that does not represent the civil society of this country and making decisions for civil society. That to me doesn't make sense, and we need to change that. I am asking the Prime Minister this time, see what they could do to implement or to get constitutional change of proportional representation in this country. We are enough for this Senate. The other thing is that I want to speak about is these tech promoters. They were complaining, oh, the set of that. I ain't nobody complaining now. What happened? Everybody gets paid to keep that. 15,000 or 2,500. All of a sudden, everybody gets silent. I not hear the promoters no more. And it's important issue of facing us. The IMF is here. Are people concerned that the IMF is here? And based on the IMF, government has to take certain measures. Are people concerned about that? You forget when IMF went into Jamaica, what happened? When IMF went into the Guyana, what happened? I hope people are ready for that, you know. Hard times coming. Let them worry about the criminals. And they'll see what happens. I am a victim of crime. Any measure they implement would help me because I have to root up my family from over, root up the business from over, lose my livelihood because of what criminals. And you want to tell me measures and constitutional rights and human rights? What about human rights for me who are victim of crime? The child, it is there, it ain't right, but you have to live with it. I'm going to live with it. I'm going to live with whatever happens. But I only hope they don't complain about crime, you know. God bless.
Okay.
Right.
Well, let me correct that caller. People are entitled to complain about crime because the government and the security institutions are supposed to deal with the crime situation and are supposed to be resourced. Dealing with the crime situation does not mean infringing on the constitutional right of citizens. In other countries, bigger countries, they don't infringe on the rights of the Constitution to deal with crime. They deal with crime because they are resourced to deal with crime. And we know that we have a problem with the TTPS in terms of rogue police officers. That's one. These independent senators do represent civil society. That's why it was created, when the Constitution was created, that the president has sole remit on appointing those senators. Dr. Lalit represent civil society. The senior counsels represent civil society. The economists represent civil society. And it was an attempt to create a balance, a check and balance in terms of the authority of the state, in terms of even if you have a constitutional majority, in terms of the numbers in the lower house, there is still a check and balance in a democracy, so that power is not unlimited. That's what it's there for. And it's there for a reason. As we saw play out yesterday, the TTPS is in charge of fighting crime, not laws that abridge constitutional rights.
Thank you, Richard. And I hope that the other people would have heard you loud and clear, because that person who you're responding to ain't listening. Trust me.
Yeah,
anyway,
well,
our poll is up.
That's what it is.
Yeah, no, I hear you. I hear you. And thankfully, other people are intelligent enough to listen, right? Were you surprised that Zoso bill failed in the Senate? Yes or no? I know a lot of people didn't expect it to pass, and a lot of people expected it, the result that they got. So it's a kind of balanced poll. Were you surprised that the Zoso bill failed in the Senate? Yes or no? That's our poll. We go up to news, and then when we come back, we'll have a chat with Tahaka Obika, and then we will sing.
All right.
The news you need, the clarity you deserve. Local, regional, global. This is NETT Radio News Now.
This is News Now on New Era TT Radio and Guy L Caribbean TV for Wednesday, the 28th of January. I'm Derek McMillan. Thank you for joining us. The Ministry of Education says schools across Trinidad and Tobago remain safe and operational despite reports of early dismissals at a small number of schools today. The ministry confirmed that learning continued nationwide, with all 143 government and government-assisted ECCE centers open and active. Attendance data shows steady student participation, with strong turnout reported in districts including Coroni, St. George East, Victoria, and the southeastern region. Only about 1% of primary and secondary schools dismiss students early. The ministry acknowledged a temporary variation in teacher attendance, but stressed that the current collective agreement is fully ratified and there is no justification for any withdrawal of labor. Education Minister Dr. Michael Dowlath thanked teachers who reported for duty and urged parents to continue sending students to school, especially ahead of SEA and CXC examinations.
Trinidad Cement Limited has warned customers of a possible cement price increase if a proposed hike in natural gas prices is approved later this month. In a statement on January 26, TCL said natural gas is a key input in cement production and rising costs would significantly impact operations. The company is awaiting a final decision from the National Gas Company, expected on January 31st. TCL noted it is already facing higher costs from raw materials, packaging, and inflation, and said any gas price increase would be unavoidable and require a price adjustment. While opposing the gas hike, the company says it must act to remain sustainable. Former Energy Minister Stuart Young has criticized the government, warning higher gas prices will lead to increased costs for consumers and businesses nationwide. Former Police Commissioner Gary Griffith has questioned why body cameras purchased during his tenure are still not being used by police officers, saying the technology could prevent excessive force and protect officers from false allegations. Griffith noted that during his time as commissioner, officers involved in a similar fatal shooting were immediately suspended, and he questioned why current Commissioner Alistair Guevara has not taken the same approach. He said public trust in the police has fallen sharply, from 59% during his tenure to about 8% today, and argued body cameras are critical, especially with zones of special operations coming into effect on January 31st. Griffith also criticized the reduced use of non-lethal options and urged the public to demand accountability from police leadership. A woman police constable was among 2 people targeted during a robbery with aggravation in Laventille on Monday night. Police say the incident happened around 7:45 p.m. along McAllister Street, Eastern Main Road. The officer, a 45-year-old from Aruca, was seated in her vehicle speaking with a male resident when 2 men approached. One suspect wearing a red jersey allegedly pulled a gun and ordered the officer out of the vehicle, while the second told the man to lie on the ground. Fearing for her life, the officer drew her licensed firearm, prompting both suspects to flee. The male victim was robbed of a bunch of keys before the men escaped. Families of 2 Trinidadian men killed in a U.S. missile strike last October have filed a lawsuit against the United States, alleging wrongful death and extrajudicial killing. The claim was filed on January 27th in a U.S. federal court by relatives of Chad Joseph, 26, and Rishi Samaru, 41. The men were among 6 people killed when a missile struck a civilian boat traveling from Venezuela to Trinidad and Tobago as they returned to Las Cuevas. The lawsuit alleges the strike was unlawful and part of a wider U.S. campaign targeting civilian boats. It argues the U.S. was not engaged in an armed conflict that justified lethal force. The case is being brought under U.S. and international human rights laws, with the families seeking accountability and justice. In international news, the Spanish government has announced plans to legalize the status of undocumented migrants, a move expected to benefit more than 500,000 people. The measure will apply to foreign nationals without criminal records who can prove they lived in Spain for at least 5 months before December 31st, 2025. Successful applicants will receive a 1-year residence permit, with the option to extend it. Migration Minister Elma Saiz described the move as historic, saying it strengthens a model based on human rights and economic growth. The decision has drawn criticism from opposition parties, who warn it could strain public services, while the government says migrants are vital to Spain's economy. And that's news to this hour.
That was News Now. Stay informed with New Era TT Radio, NETT Radio.
Your mid-morning just got better. Join Sir Charles for the mid-morning mix and mingle, where good music, real talk, health, and family matters come together, and your voice is heard. Whether you're at work, on the go, or just taking a break, this is the perfect mix to keep you engaged, informed, and entertained. The mid-morning mix and mingle, weekdays, 9 a.m. to 12 noon on New Era TT Radio, NETT Radio.
Vibes, fresh energy. This is the NETT Radio Breakfast Show.
Explicit boy. We don't have no man problem. Patsy don't have no man problem. No problem. Naila don't have no man problem. Just tell them. Bad girl don't need no man. So wind up in the van. Girls only in the jam. We outside singing. Bad girl up girls to the waist. Young ones to take a taste. And that is how we like it so. Bad girls say drop that one and wide it. Push back when I grind it. Cock back in a time it. All bodies behind me and say drop that one and wide it. Push back when I grind it. Cock back in a time it. All bodies behind me and say we looking good. We feeling nice. We have no time for stush. This we come to wine. Don't feel no how. Don't feel no way. We don't have no time for people, man. We come to play. All on top of the speaker box is only woman. All on top of the curtain fence is only woman. Cause in the jam all of we is friend, all of we is one. And if your friend looking best, just slap she bam bam and tell them bad girl don't need no man. So wind up in the van, girls only in the jam. We outside singing bad girl, up girls to the waist. Young ones to take a taste, and that is how we like it so. Bad girls say drop that one and wide it. Push back when I grind it. Cock back in a time it. All bodies behind me and say drop that one and wide it. Push back when I grind it. Cock back in a time it. All bodies behind me and say we don't know shame. We flawless from head to toe. When they call me name, you know how the story goes. They walk up on sexiness, fling it back and no brace. When we reach on the stage, we mash up the people place. All on top of the speaker box is only woman. All on
NETT Radio Breakfast Show. Fueling your day with the best music and real talk.
No man problem, no girl problem, no problem at all. Patrice and of course Nyla there, yeah, they have two bad girls. Two very bad, good looking girl too. Hey everybody, good morning to you once again, and of course thank you very much for being with us inside of the second hour here on New Era TT Radio, the heartbeat of the Caribbean. Yes, we take you above and beyond. Welcome inside the second hour of the breakfast show. For those of you who've been at us very early this morning, thank you very much. For those of you that came in along the way and are going to go all the way, thank you very much. Because we are experiencing some problems with Gael TV this morning. Let's hope that they will come on sometime before. But in the meantime, you can listen to us on newerattradio.com. So when we come off of the social media feeds, we use the social media feeds for our talk shows. You can just come across the newerattradio.com, or you can listen to us on TuneIn, right? New Era TT Radio on TuneIn. That way you get us on all your Google and Alexa devices. Yeah. Remember, like, support, subscribe to the channels, and hit our support donate buttons, right? We really need your support to keep us inside the space. Our poll is up. You're voting yes and you're voting no. And anything else you want to say after that is okay. But put yes or no first, all right? So you don't confuse the guys on the reading it. Are you surprised that the Zoso bill failed in the Senate? That's what we're asking you today. And when we come back, we will tell you how you voted. And of course, please get ready to sing today.
Hey, you. Yes, you. I'm talking to you. So you think I can sing, huh? Well, then be part of our Carnival Karaoke. You know what? I don't like that name. Let's call it Carnival Karaoke. Carnival Karaoke. We'll call it Karaoke. Yeah, so you can be part of our Carnival Karaoke on the breakfast show on New Era TT Radio. Yep, it's happening Monday to Friday at 7:50 a.m. starting Monday the 19th of January, and all you have to do is sing a verse and a chorus of your favorite calypso, soca, chutney, old or new. Just sing it good, and you could be our karaoke singer, our champion for 2026. We're taking 2 contestants every day, and we're choosing one winner whose name will go into the championship box. And on Carnival Friday, the 13th of February, we'll have a grand draw for the karaoke champion on the breakfast show. The first ever prizes. Well, don't worry about that. You'll get something. Just come and sing and be part of our Carnival Karaoke on the breakfast show and New Era TT Radio. Sing, the man, sing.
This carnival, the seas are calling. Production Sounds and Ace Limers Entertainment presents Foreign Exchange.
Foreign Exchange. A carnival season boat ride like no other.
I wanna be somewhere where the music is.
Sunday, February 8th, 2026. Hearts Cut, Chakaramos.
Step aboard the Ocean Pelican and experience where soca meets the open water.
Boarding 7 p.m. Sailing 8 p.m. Music by Production Sounds.
D.O.C.
Kevin Baker. Beats by Robin, Young Pro, and Bounty the Voice. DJ Eldon. And featuring International Steven. All the way from the U.S.
Tier 1 tickets, $250. Tier 2 tickets, $300. Cooler included. No glass bottles allowed. Get your tickets now at islandetickets.com or call 29218-4747.
Sunday, February 8th, 2026. Hearts Cut, Chakaramos. Foreign Exchange.
End times is here. Are you prepared? Check us on New Era TT Radio or NETT Radio with Brother Raka and Brother Yatazakawa on Mondays from 7 to 8 p.m. End times is here. Stay tuned.
S&H Rumbox, 137 Western Main Road, St. James, for all your retail and wholesale needs for alcohol and non-alcoholic beverages. Call us at 686-0599 or visit us at 137 Western Main Road, St. James. S&H Rumbox, drinking out of the box.
Jump into savings at Furniture Plus. Enjoy up to 40% off in-store and online. Find amazing deals on furniture, appliances, mattresses, and more. Plus extra discounts on credit plans and free gifts with select purchases. Save more at Furniture Plus today.
Advertise with us on New Era TT Radio, the fastest growing streaming platform for talk in Trinidad and Tobago. Audio and video ads welcome. Elevate your brand with us. Connect with us at newerattradio@yahoo.com or call us at 299-5156. Now what are you waiting for?
All right, we are back from our 7 o'clock news. Lots of votes and lots of chatter. Lots of votes and lots of chat. I'm going to try to read maybe some of your comments, but I have to sift it through, right?
All right, hold on 1 minute. I went down. Hold on 1 minute. 1 minute.
1 minute.
Mrs. Roberts Rajman? No. Mr. Cummings?
No.
Mrs. John Bates?
No.
Mr. Boodoo?
No.
Mr. Vieira SC?
No.
Miss Choate SC?
No.
Dr. Axe?
No.
Mr. De La Bastide SC?
No.
Miss Joan Simmons?
No.
Mr. Lewis?
No.
Dr. Murray?
No.
Mrs. Lalit Etienne?
No.
Mr. McNish?
Abstain.
Mr. President, the results of the division as follows. 15 senators voted for the bill, 14 senators voted against the bill, and there was one abstention.
Honorable Senators, as a result of the division, 15 members voted for the bill, 14 members voted against the bill, and there was one abstention. The bill has not been approved.
Yeah, no fanfare, no dash.
No. One thing I noticed, I mean, this is my interpretation of what I saw yesterday. And if you looked at that little clip, you saw it too. Dr. Marley Nats was not a happy camper yesterday. She did not smile. She just looked very upset about what she was hearing and what she was witnessing, because she withdrew all the amendments that she had. When they came to her, she just said, I withdraw my amendments. You understand? She was not happy. You could just tell, because she normally has a pleasant look, you know what I mean? And you could just see she wasn't happy.
Right.
You know? She wasn't happy.
But I see. You know who was missing there in the Senate? One vote was missing, you know. The TTPS. After the vote, everybody said TTPS. No.
They voted in a drain in St. Augustine the other day, didn't they? Yeah. Wasn't that their vote?
That was a vote. But it wasn't any
19. It's 19 votes they had.
Yeah.
And they use up all 19.
They use up all the votes. When they go down the line, it's just say, and then it's TTPS.
Prime Minister, I want to tell you, you and your government, the independent and opposition bench, basically saved you and your government from what could easily escalate into something you couldn't control. You would have had no control over it once you had given them that power, you would have had no control over it. Trust me. And it eventually would have come back, right back around to you all, or some member of your family, or some kind of thing. You understand? Trust
And
me.
you give Mr. Obikadi the link, right?
You send it for me? Oh, yeah. I asked for it to be sent. You didn't see the chat?
No, I ain't going to the chat. But
Send it in the chat so I could send it to him on WhatsApp. All right? But, so in the meantime, I could go through the votes if you're ready.
Nah, talk some more about it. Am I got the
All right. Well, as I said, I was a bit surprised because based on the comments I was hearing and based on the tone of the Senate yesterday, I thought they would have gotten it. And the government also, as I say, through the AG, also gave off the impression that we getting this thing passed today. You know what I mean? That we're not entertaining any amendments. But guess what? Yeah, what you're sent in or what you're saying, it's useful. We could consider it. And so the AG was going, you know? In other words, almost trying to pacify the independent bench and listen, what you're proposing, we could look at it down the road. But when? How is that to be done? So it just came across as a mama guy, but in my opinion, it seemed to have been working. Yeah. And as I said, I was messaging someone in the parliament and I said, this thing ain't looking good, you know. The independent bench, you get the impression that they may very well get the support, but they needed 4 independent senators. I know we've had a back and forth with that, whether they needed 3 or 4. But based on a report I've seen this morning again, they needed 4 independent senators to vote along with them. And I don't know, as I said, quite a few of them. Senator McNish, as I said, somebody said he definitely supporting it. And I think he indicated that in his presentation, that he would have been supporting it. And he wasn't facing, I don't know if people saw it, he didn't face that independent bench, that government bench at all. He turned his chair, because he's the last chair in the row, towards his own colleagues. And that's how he sat for most of the sitting yesterday. And then at the end, he abstained. And I think he may have abstained because all the others said no.
Yeah.
That's reading of it.
Yeah, because I mean, he was the last person, right?
Yes, he was the last person to
vote. Coming down, you know, at that point in time, you're still either between yes or no. You know, one of the other senators. He
said. So Charles, he from the outset he indicated he is supporting it. So to come now and abstain, you know, it was kind of weird.
Right.
You know?
And let's go with the ampoule.
You ready?
Yeah.
Right. Let's go through this thing quickly. Michael Oliver, no. Did you send it? All right, okay.
I did.
Let me just send it quickly for Tahaka while I go.
Yeah, so yeah.
So ready? Michael Oliver, no. Marlon Motley, no. Magic, no. Bernadette Yates, no. Apollinaris, no. Suzanne Jessup, no. Wendy and James said, due to Richard, the many public figures and the public of TNT, I congratulate us all. Yes, you're right. I agree with that, Wendy. Gregory Boyer, yes. Pleasantly surprised. Dean Allen. Michael Cadet, no. Carol Guevara, yes. Pleasantly so. Cheryl Henry didn't vote here. Ava Smith, yes. Miguel Gonzalez, yes. Cheryl Henry votes no. David McCarthy, no. I was confident it would fail. Avion Abraham says no. Victor Philip, don't vote now. Richard just disagreed with you. That's all right. Oh, well, he not disagreed with you, corrected you. Rena Jennings, no. Joyce Phillip, no. Robert Taylor, no. Boy B. Dacey, yes. Nicola McNichols, no. Brennan Smith, no. Kazim Mohammed, no. I was anxious. Estelita Sampson, no. Not after the video. Kenny and Harlem, no. Finbar Collins, no. I was not surprised. Good for them. Robert Allen, no. I always knew it would fail. Eunice Dublin, no. Pearl Cordis, no. Morning, Miss Cordis. Marlene Saunders Sobers, I am relieved. Yes. A lot of chat here. Joseph Clement, I am glad that it didn't pass, but I don't know how to record that vote, Joseph. So Scorpion Pepper. So my vote is yes and no. No, you can't do that. She abstained. Scorpion Pepper, you're miserable this morning.
Yeah, abstain. We have no abstention here.
Who else? Ooh, a lot of chat here. Dave Gosine says no. James Kamau, yes, apparently still have people with a backbone. Ian Stewart, no. CJ from New York, no. Anon, no. Slick Money Grip, no. Yeah, she is a warrior. Trini in Boston, no. Hey, nice to hear from you after such a long time. Wendy Ann James, no. Margaret Thomas, no. Nasa Mohammed, no. Diane Payne, yes. Valerie Mendoza, no. All right, a lot of chat here. Hold on, Anderson Clark, no, that's a new name too. A lot of chatted search.
I don't need to tell them yes or no first now, then they can chat.
Mr. Flavor, yes. Michael Eastman, no. Trini Merle Kitchen, no. Scorpion Pepper, you know, I just tease you there, right? I know you're excited. And you vote yes to the poll. She finally votes yes to the poll, people. Yay! And Beauty Culture says no. Those are the votes I have on the chat, Sir Charles.
All right.
Scorpion Pepper, come now my rum box this Friday. Let me chill a little bit now. You drink a little Caribbean. I think it's Caribbean last time. Or a little Smirnoff or something.
Right, so I have Sankofa saying no, Kurt saying no, Laverne saying no, Junior saying yes, Pauline saying yes, Brenda in Pinal saying no, Zena saying no, Archbishop Ashton Clark, who is in Trinidad in Shagwana still. Good morning to you. C saying no, Frank in Arizona saying yes, Sean says yes, Afria says no. Sachin, I didn't understand where you vote. But from your message, I guess you would be saying probably any other middle guess. All right. Any others coming in between there with them?
No. Right. Except that Mr. Philip, who called you? Who said you found I was a fool? Is he referring to Richard and not listening? I don't know that Richard would call anybody a fool.
No, not Richard.
No, Richard, not Richard. I mean, if I'll play back that show, I'll play back that for sure. Richard doesn't call people a fool.
All right, so we had 51 people on the poll this morning. 40 of you saying no, and 11 of you saying yes.
Oh, Mr. Philip is saying I called him a fool. Me?
We'll check it back for you later on.
I'll check it back, but if I did, I apologize. But that's not my kind of language either, too. I don't call people a fool. Not me. Maybe interpret what I say about you as being foolish. That's all right. So that's our vote today. What's the result, Sir Charles?
Right. So 51 people on the poll, 40 saying no, and 11 saying yes.
All right.
So that's what I said.
I was surprised. I'll be honest with you. Whilst I was surprised, honestly, because of how I was following it yesterday in particular. I was surprised that they voted, that they shut down anything, because the government, the tenor of the Attorney General and the government was that we almost sure we getting this thing passed. That's how I read the arrogance from the government yesterday. Like they're sure they're getting it passed. You understand? And then when they said that they have no amendments, and then the independent bench, a few of them withdrew their amendments. I say, oh Lord, look trouble here.
Yeah, but every and I too. I mean, I'm surprised that that so many, I didn't get at least one or two other persons saying yes, the lobby wasn't good then, I suppose. But if the government was not feeling the pulse of what was happening on the ground, that means the government has already lost touch, because to maintain that stance of not entertaining any amendments, clearly they were not feeling what was taking place on the ground. And they need to look at that.
Yeah, I think that, as I said, everything happened in a kind of way to set up the government, if you know what I mean. It didn't help them when the Prime Minister insulted the independent bench by calling their views vapid and shallow. That didn't help. You understand?
Yeah.
But even after that, and you present the bill and you present your arguments and so on, they took on a kind of arrogant way that, this is going to happen, and this is what we need, and we're not entertaining amendments, and then the police incident happened.
Yeah.
You understand? The incident with the police happened.
And as I was saying, and even after that incident, if they were looking at what was taking place on the ground, they would have said, well, we need to make some adjustments here. And if they did not see that, well, then they walk into the truck, But it will be interesting to see where they go from here now, because as I said, if the SOE comes to an end in a couple of days' time, and they are like, this is all that we had. Well, let us see what else you could pull out of the hat. But our guest is here, Wendell. So
all right, let's get to our guest. Yes. Yeah. All right. Hello. Good morning, Tahaka.
Good morning. Wendell and
I still have you registered in my phone as Senator Tahaka Obika since the way back in the day. I still have you as Senator Tahaka Obika, but you would have served as a UNC senator, and now you would have also served as a temporary PNM senator.
Yes.
All right. So why did you get special? Well, let's poll you one time. Were you surprised that the Zoso bill failed in the Senate yesterday?
Not after the events that happened from Friday. So the government, you could have seen a lot of the independent senators were indicating to the government that they didn't want to give the Prime Minister unfettered powers to decide where, when, and how, and for how long to impose rules that will restrict and remove citizens of their constitutional rights. All right. Now, hear how horrible it was. You could be from, let's say, from Tobago, and you happen to visit Trinidad, and you happen to visit an area that was marked off as a zone, and you're in that area. They could suspend your rights then. You don't have to be. They're not asking for your ID card to see a proof of address. Once you happen to be in the zone at that point in time, your rights have been suspended. End of text. So it's not just those people in the zone. So that's the first issue. It was not a question of you're looking at the people in the zone who causing problems and we'll create a zone to deal with them. No. Is number one, there is no opportunity to go to parliament. So for example, you're creating a zone in an area and you have a member of parliament. The member of parliament for that area who could help provide, who could bring the concerns of the people to the parliament, and probably even assist the police in terms of being effective. That person has no say in a zone being placed in an area that he or she is a member of parliament for.
Stick up in there. I think you need to explain that some more, because I'm not aware of that. So you're saying that a representative from an area can't raise a concern in the parliament if their area is designated as a zone?
there would be no opportunity to do so to prevent the zone from being so what they were giving is the prime minister was basically going to have the powers of a monarch, of a queen, of a king, you know, and that prime minister could wake up one morning and say, you know what, I will make the area around Wendell Stevens' house a zone. No recourse to parliament to get that to happen. The only time the prime minister would have to get permission from the parliament is if she wanted to extend the zone from 90 days to the next 90 days around your house. But here what she could do, she could add your neighbor house to the zone. So it's a new zone now. So they go the next 90 days. The next 90 days she could add the house across the street. So the zone has changed geographically. So therefore she doesn't need to go. So she can do that every 3 months indefinitely.
Oh, right? Well, I'm happy that you explained that, because I didn't follow the debate, honestly, in the Senate until yesterday. I was specific to yesterday, where the AG basically shut down amendments. But I took note that the AG made special mention of you and not responding to your contribution in the parliament. So why was that, though?
Well, number one, the AG was absent. And I'm sure if the AG looks back at the debate and my contribution, most of the objections, most of the standing orders that were raised against me by his colleagues in the UNC were shut down by the president. So if anything at all, it could be that he took issue with his colleagues raising frivolous objections to my points. So, I mean, if what I was saying was so egregious, then the points of order would have been upheld.
Right. Because it seemed like a deliberate strategy by the government Senate bench to deliberately distract people when they were speaking. I saw that they did that to Dr. Brown yesterday on several occasions. They got up on points without sometimes even quoting standing orders. And the president had to, how should put them back in order in some instances.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, but you see, okay, let's examine who the UNC has in the Senate. All right? You have 15 persons. You normally discount the deputy president because they're typically not really supposed to be descending into the debate in any robust manner, right? On the government side. So therefore, they would usually pick non-contentious bills, things that might deal with community organizations, family, sport, those types of things. Then nation building type of bills, you'll expect the deputy presiding officer to get into, or because the deputy presiding officer was a national football captain, you might expect Senator Kenya Charles, to enter debates in terms of sports and so on. But those are typically non-contentious. Most people typically agree in those cases. But so you have 14 other senators. You have the brilliance and excellence of Philip Edward Alexander, the sterling contributions of Senator David Nakin, the outstanding presentations of Anna Roberts, and the super contributions of one Brian Big. So you're getting where I'm going with.
Yes,
right?
yes. I read between the lines clearly.
So that's 4. So you're down to 10, right? You have the Minister of Trade, who hardly enters debates. He's not a politician.
Right.
If it is a matter pertaining to his ministry, he might treat with it, that kind of thing. Budget debate and Minister of Trade. The Minister of Tertiary Education, he hardly enters debates either. But these are not politicians then, right? No attorneys. Then you have also the
Labor Minister.
He was the Parliamentary Secretary in Social Welfare. She will deal with more softer issues and so on. Titan Mirage. So you're down to 7, right? And you have the Minister of Transport, a quiet guy. He really deal with too much things. Eli Zakur. So he's not robust. And then you have the Minister of AI, Dominic Smith. All right. So you're down to 5. So who are the 5 speakers for the government that people would really try to listen to glean the government's position on bills that are contentious? Because this is what this was. You have the AG, John Jeremy. You have Minister of the Economy, Kennedy Sarat Singh. You have Minister in the Office of the Prime Minister, who is leader of government business, Senator Alaha. Then you have
Labour Minister Leroy Batiste.
Labour Minister Leroy Batiste. And there's one more person.
I think I saw Rashid or something yesterday.
No, he's sitting for
he's sitting in for big.
And then you have the Agriculture Minister, Ravi Rathiram. So those are the 5
Ravi Rathiram, right.
True politicians that the UNC has in the Senate, right? And really speaking, there would be some conflict in the minds of at least the AG and Kennedy Sarat Singh in terms of defending some of the policies that the government come with. So they would try to find a line that they could be comfortable with. Because the AG could not treated with the social and economic implications of the bill. All right? So you can treat with that. You can't dispute the issues I raised. The leader of government business, Senator Alaha, introduced into the debate the question I raised. When he started off by saying he's a member of the East Indian community and he's a proud one. What that have to do with what we're discussing when his colleagues are talking about Rich Plain in Diego Martin, Mbakade, the line in Marabella? These are the places that his colleagues were mentioning. Enterprise. What that have to do with being an Indian? It might have more to do with being an African. You understand? Yeah. But much less than being Indian. So if you are telling the population that you are a member of the National Security Committee, this National Security Council, and you're a proud Indian, and the bill is going to be clamping down on areas with persons who are primarily of African descent, people typically read between the lines. They're not going to trust you. And to make matters worse, the man is petty because the ceremony in Parliament is one where a new senator comes in, they take the oath, and the president must shake their hand.
Yeah.
Senator Mark must shake their hand to welcome them to his house. He's the presiding officer. And the leader of government business is the person who sets the agenda for the house. It's also his house. He's the leader of the house. Senator Alha refused to shake my hand. I'm not saying I want to shake the man's hand, but I'm just saying that is part of the ceremony.
Yes.
And if you're so petty that is a problem for you, you understand? We have a saying in Trinidad, where you're seen in broad daylight, you ain't going to shine flambeau to find it in the night. You understand? And then you're talking about being a proud Indian. People will glean that the man is a racist. People will think that. And you cannot fault them for thinking that. And he is setting policy as the man in the office of the Prime Minister, right? Which means at the level of cabinet, he's a senior member. He's in charge of who gets to speak in the Senate for the government. And this is the level of bigotry that he's portraying on the population. And then the Minister of Defense, when the public was saying, well, they're going to lock down black people again. Not the BNM, the public was saying that. The Minister of Defense, a week ago, in a press conference, say, well, National Security Council have 4 proud black people.
Yeah,
so
I
black
heard that.
people nothing to worry about.
I didn't understand that.
But that is how the UNC thinks. So they say, okay, I used to be in the UNC, so I could tell you. They will say, okay, I can't say this. You want to say that. And I would tell them when I was there, that if I say it, if you say it, you'll sound racist. But they could accept that because they would also think that you just don't know how you're sounding. You don't know you're sounding racist, right? So they wouldn't say you are a racist. They'll just say you're sounding so. And you could fix that by just not saying it again, right? But I say if I say it, I will be deemed a sellout. You understand? So
getting back to Zoso.
So I want to just land on this point. So what I said is that somebody's trying to put what I told them is nobody could say that. right?
Yeah. I think a phone call is disturbing your
and therefore,
internet.
Somebody is trying to call me on air. So, yes, I just ended it there. So what I'm saying is, so the UNC doesn't seem to understand how they sound, all right? By putting a person who black to say something like that, they actually do themselves more harm. You understand? So I when I was there, I used to warn them that this is not what anybody in the UNC can afford to say. Not you, because you're not African, and not me, because I'm African. You can't say it. If it's something bad, nobody can say it. It is something that is bad to say. That because people, black people are nowhere. In Grenada, it had black police under Eric Gary when they were massacring black people in Grenada. And they had to have a revolution by Maurice Bishop. And then Bernard Cord was a black man, and he took black people and killed Maurice Bishop's entire black cabinet. So being black have nothing to do with it.
Right, true.
If you want to say because the people of the same race you're good, well then what happened in Germany with Hitler? When he killed millions of Frenchmen, whether they was Jew, Christian, it didn't matter. You understand? So being of the same race as someone does not prevent you from from committing atrocious acts.
Yes, yes.
So that's the Tonton Macoute in Haiti. What he playing Tonton Macoute was killing Haitians like water. What they were Chinese? They were the same black people, like the same Haitians. So this notion that an attorney, a defense attorney, no less, in Wayne Surge, he must know the racially charged rhetoric he was coming with by saying that in a press conference, calling a press conference to spell out. And he went beyond the ministers, and he said to Jolene John himself, Sean Sobers, and some other, and John Jeremy, right? He went further than that. He said the chief of defense are black, the head of the police black, the head of this black, right? And that they believed that, hey, that song good. This is good. The video is still up on the UNC's pages today on their YouTube page. Right? Yes. So that is what they were coming with. And then to make matters worse, to answer your question at the beginning, why I believe that the bill would have been defeated is there are a few senators willing to give the government a chance if they had introduced a sunset clause. All right? So at least they're not giving the prime minister unfettered powers forever. Right. Let me try it for a year, see how it works. Something like that. That was Senator De La Bassie. They rejected that out of hand. Then the other issue was the killing of the Samaru boy by the police on camera. But that was one thing. What made it worse wasn't that, was the comments of the police commissioner. The police commissioner, Mr. Guevara, needs to apologize to the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago. He made what I deem to be the most disgraceful statement by a police commissioner in this century. How can you, as a police commissioner, after my children could see that the man was killed unfairly, unjustly, you understand? And you are saying that you do not see anything that warrants an investigation?
Well, a suspension.
A suspension?
Yeah.
You're supposed to suspend and then investigate so they could be moving around and contaminating the process.
Yeah.
We didn't say suspend them with no pay. They have families. Suspend them with pay in the interest of protecting, saving the face of the police service as a whole. So now every single police officer, my grandfather was a police officer, every single police officer is walking around Trinidad and Tobago with citizens saying, look at them criminals.
Yeah.
Them murdering people on camera, you know. And so the police commissioner needs to apologize to the population, reverse his statement, suspend the officers. Otherwise, it's better he resign. Yeah, that's what the senators would have. Because even Senator Mugnish was sounding as if he was giving the government a chance and going to vote for them. There was another senator who was going to give them a chance and vote for the bill. There were at least 3 senators that wanted to give the government a chance to vote for the bill. After that, yesterday, not a single one of them supported them because they realize now that it's more than just the politician. The police commissioner himself, you understand, is so behind the time that he cannot see that what he said there is a recipe for disaster.
Yeah.
Mr. Obika, let me ask you a question. As you're talking about, who may have given it a chance and that. So, what do you feel is the future of this bill, or does it have a future? Will it come back in a different form? What do you think will happen?
I think to get a bill to come back in the same session, because the Parliament has 5 sessions, right? So this year is the first session. For it to come back in the same session, they will have to get the permission of the opposition.
Yeah, I think they can't bring it back for another 6 months. I think that's the period. And this session doesn't have 6 months left.
Yeah, so they have to get the permission of the opposition.
Mm-hmm.
The session ends July.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure if it's 6 months or if it's the entire session, but regardless, either way, it's still the same thing, because the session will end the first week of July anyway. And they'll go on a break until September. They'll need to get the permission of the opposition.
Yeah.
But you see the posture of the government.
Yeah.
If the posture of the government is to call it independent senators, bootlickers, and the like for voting against the bill. I'm not sure that same government and that same prime minister is going to be willing to subject themselves to consultation with the opposition.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you answered my next question already by referring to that issue with the police commissioner. I swear you were listening to the show or watching the show over the last few days, because those were our exact sentiments, that they basically shot the government in the foot with that issue with Joshua Samaru and the responses from the commissioner of police after. They basically shot the government in the feet.
Yeah, and the thing is, a lot of people were in high praise of the commissioner, myself included. Saying the man is doing a good job. He has stepped into the role and he's doing a good job. And everybody saying, see, you don't need to get a foreign police commissioner again, and everything is good, and the merit listing work, and the parliamentary process to appoint a commissioner is work because we have produced a commissioner. They even say the man was in special branch, so he understands the inner workings of the police, and he knows how to handle things, and he's a strong investigative person. And he's strong in terms of crime fighting, superior intellect, and then he come and make this crazy statement. They need the communications department in the police service or to advise him. They can still advise him. It is the duty of the communications department in the police service to advise the police commissioner that he must reverse that decision. He must reverse that statement. He must reverse the statement, because it is not healthy for a population not to have trust in the police. At the head, is it okay to not have trust in one officer or two because they could report them? But when you report them, if the man in charge saying he ain't seen nothing wrong with murdering citizens on camera, then he has to go, or he must reverse his statement.
Yeah. All right, well, thanks very much. I don't know if Richard, I know Richard just came in. Any
last questions? What?
Nah, Richard. All right. So, Tahaka, thanks very much for joining us on
Thank you for having me.
For sure.
Well, maybe you can ask some of the attorneys who were part of the contribution, both opposition, independent, and government, to give their view on the future, the way forward. But the way forward for me must include bringing back all those youth programs that they've cancelled.
Yeah.
Because Jamaica has shown it, and the debate, when the debate was going on, people were saying the following Jamaica example. The Jamaica example has shown that crime increased in the zones over time, when people get accustomed to it, over time. So therefore, unless you treat with the underlying causes of the problem, you will have some immediate relief. Things will be looking rosy. It's like you just put a plaster on a big sore. You still have to get to the root of the problem. And that is the root of the problem is wealth creation in these communities and persons at the individual and household level being able to elevate. I sell insurance and I go into communities and you find people who spend a lot of money. And all you have to do is get one member of a family to say, okay, I'll try to save. And the rest of them, who might be making less, will follow that person pattern. So it's about generational breaking, as we say in Trinidad, breaking generational habits. That's our next word we use. It's but breaking generational habits. Right?
So we got to go, but thank you very much for being with us this morning.
Yeah, thanks, Tahaka. Take care.
Yeah.
All right. Of course, our guest was former senator. Well, he sat in he was a former UNC senator and sat in as a temporary PNM senator, Tahaka Obika. All right?
All right, get ready to sing. Quickly, people. We're coming back.
Hey, you. Yes, you. I'm talking to you. So you think you can sing, huh? Well, then be part of our Carnival Karaoke. You know what? I don't like that name. Let's call it Carnival Karaoke. Carnival Karaoke. We'll call it Karaoke. Yeah, so you can be part of our Carnival Karaoke on the Breakfast Show on New Era TT Radio. Yep, it's happening Monday to Friday at 7:50 a.m. starting Monday the 19th of January, and all you have to do is sing a verse and a chorus of your favorite calypso, soca, chutney, old or new. Just sing it good, and you could be our karaoke singer, our champion for 2026. We're taking 2 contestants every day, and we're choosing one winner whose name will go into the championship box. And on Carnival Friday, the 13th of February, we'll have a grand draw for the karaoke champion on the Breakfast Show. The first ever prizes. Well, don't worry about that. You'll get something. Just come and sing and be part of our Carnival Karaoke on the Breakfast Show and New Era TT Radio. Sing, the man, sing.
Oh, I thought I was doing something wrong there. No? Right. So yeah, it's time for our Carnival Karaoke. And this is where you get in on the show. This is where you get to sing. All right. So give us a call at 281-1315 or 299-5156. Tell them what that is doing.
Huh?
Tell them what
Richard, your son, you put up a picture of your son in the space. Put it down, put up yours. You know, when we come back after the 8 o'clock news, Sir Charles, you'll play that video of Senator McNish, and we'll save the one from with Keir Starmer maybe for another day.
Rather than make jokes about my picture, you hear me?
Hey.
I say rather than make jokes about my picture, you should study how Senator Obika get to be a temporary senator before you.
Nah.
That is what should concern you.
Hello.
After all the blood, sweat, and tears you give the People's National Party, your host family day, you're always up and always, up in the PNM, and up to now they can't make an independent senator, even temporary.
Because of radio.
And Senator Obika zoom past you. That is what you should be studying, not my picture.
Because of radio. Because of my years of radio. And somebody go back and say, boy, you know what Wendell say? Wendell say local government reform is a hoax. Wendell say this, Wendell say that. I will never be anything. And that's why a current UNC minister tell a group of them the other day, oh, you don't want to make use of Wendell? I go make use of it.
Anyhow, people, this is the karaoke session, and courtesy of Sunshine, Feel Good, and the folks out there at Bow Wow Pet Supplies, Amanda and what's his name? Edwin?
Amanda and Damien Edwin.
Oh, yeah, right.
Amanda and Damien Edwin.
Damien Edwin, right. Okay. So this is where you call in and you will sing. And we have somebody here this morning. So good morning to you, caller.
Good morning, Sir Charles, Richard, and Wendell. I'm going to try my voice at it. And I don't know what's professional, but I will try.
That is good. That is good.
All right, go ahead.
You will say Wendell?
No, I thought you had entered already, but go ahead.
No.
Go ahead, Susan.
Yes.
I get up in the morning and there's unemployment. I can't take that. I get up in the morning and there's more retrenchment. I can't take that. I wake up in the morning and there's more frustration. I can't take that. I wake up in the morning hearing more police killing. I can't take that. People ain't taking that, so the people ain't taking that. No, we ain't taking that, so the people ain't taking that. We ain't taking that, so the people ain't taking that. That's why the ZOSO didn't pass the bill today. And it didn't get to pass at all. Too much are killing in Trinidad and Tobago. We ain't taking that, so the people ain't taking that. We ain't taking that, so the people ain't taking that. La 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 la. And one more thing before I go, NETT Radio is the best station, number one. You can't get nothing but that one. I say we love NETT Radio is number one in Trinidad and Tobago and the Caribbean. And we taking that one for sure. Yes, I'm taking that.
Yes.
Radio. We love NETT Radio. We love NETT Radio. So Charles, Richard, and Wendell, we love you all.
We taking that.
We love you.
You know exactly what to sing, girl.
Yeah. Thanks very much, Susan.
You know exactly what to sing to get.
Yeah. She'd also curry favor. Good.
Mm-hmm. Susan, you're going straight in the box. No contest there.
You're going in the box one time, yeah.
You bounced in that box yesterday.
I mean, yeah. But sure, once you put any NETT Radio in between that there, you wrap so that.
Yeah, you get into Sir Charles' box one time.
Yeah. Straight in the box you went.
All right, so Susan going into the box. We have nobody else today. That's it.
All right, we'll go for 8 o'clock news, and when we come back, we'll take a few of your calls and we'll show Senator McNish in full flight. All right.
The news you need, the clarity you deserve. Local, regional, global. This is Net Radio News Now.
This is News Now on New Era TT Radio and Guy L Caribbean TV for Wednesday, the 28th of January. I'm Derek McMillan. Thank you for joining us. The Ministry of Education says schools across Trinidad and Tobago remain safe and operational despite reports of early dismissals at a small number of schools today. The ministry confirmed that learning continued nationwide, with all 143 government and government-assisted ECCE centers open and active. Attendance data shows steady student participation, with strong turnout reported in districts including Coroni, St. George East, Victoria, and the southeastern region. Only about 1% of primary and secondary schools dismiss students early. The ministry acknowledged a temporary variation in teacher attendance, but stressed that the current collective agreement is fully ratified and there is no justification for any withdrawal of labor. Education Minister Dr. Michael Dowlath thanked teachers who reported for duty and urged parents to continue sending students to school, especially ahead of SEA and CXC examinations. Trinidad Cement Limited has warned customers of a possible cement price increase if a proposed hike in natural gas prices is approved later this month. In a statement on January 26, TCL said natural gas is a key input in cement production and rising costs would significantly impact operations. The company is awaiting a final decision from the National Gas Company, expected on January 31st. TCL noted it is already facing higher costs from raw materials, packaging, and inflation, and said any gas price increase would be unavoidable and require a price adjustment. While opposing the gas hike, the company says it must act to remain sustainable. Former Energy Minister Stuart Young has criticized the government, warning higher gas prices will lead to increased costs for consumers and businesses nationwide. Former Police Commissioner Gary Griffith has questioned why body cameras purchased during his tenure are still not being used by police officers, saying the technology could prevent excessive force and protect officers from false allegations. Griffith noted that during his time as commissioner, officers involved in a similar fatal shooting were immediately suspended, and he questioned why current Commissioner Alistair Guevara has not taken the same approach. He said public trust in the police has fallen sharply, from 59% during his tenure to about 8% today, and argued body cameras are critical, especially with zones of special operations coming into effect on January 31st. Griffith also criticized the reduced use of non-lethal options and urged the public to demand accountability from police leadership. A woman police constable was among 2 people targeted during a robbery with aggravation in Laventille on Monday night. Police say the incident happened around 7:45 p.m. along McAllister Street, Eastern Main Road. The officer, a 45-year-old from Aruca, was seated in her vehicle speaking with a male resident when 2 men approached. One suspect, wearing a red jersey, allegedly pulled a gun and ordered the officer out of the vehicle, while the second told the man to lie on the ground. Fearing for her life, the officer drew her licensed firearm, prompting both suspects to flee. The male victim was robbed of a bunch of keys before the men escaped. Families of 2 Trinidadian men killed in a U.S. missile strike last October have filed a lawsuit against the United States, alleging wrongful death and extrajudicial killing. The claim was filed on January 27th in a U.S. federal court by relatives of Chad Joseph, 26, and Rishi Samaru, 41. The men were among 6 people killed when a missile struck a civilian boat traveling from Venezuela to Trinidad and Tobago as they returned to Las Cuevas. The lawsuit alleges the strike was unlawful and part of a wider U.S. campaign targeting civilian boats. It argues the U.S. was not engaged in an armed conflict that justified lethal force. The case is being brought under U.S. and international human rights laws, with the families seeking accountability and justice. In international news, the Spanish government has announced plans to legalize the status of undocumented migrants, a move expected to benefit more than 500,000 people. The measure will apply to foreign nationals without criminal records who can prove they lived in Spain for at least 5 months before December 31st, 2025. Successful applicants will receive a 1-year residence permit, with the option to extend it. Migration Minister Elma Saiz described the move as historic, saying it strengthens a model based on human rights and economic growth. The decision has drawn criticism from opposition parties, who warn it could strain public services, while the government says migrants are vital to Spain's economy. And that's news to this hour.
That was news now. Stay informed with New Era TT Radio. NETT Radio.
End times is here. Are you prepared? Check us on New Era TT Radio or NETT Radio with Brother Raka and Brother Yatazakawa on Mondays from 7 to 8 p.m. End times is here. Stay tuned.
Jump into savings at Furniture Plus. Enjoy up to 40% off in-store and online. Find amazing deals on furniture, appliances, mattresses, and more. Plus extra discounts on credit plans and free gifts with select purchases. Save more at Furniture Plus today.
S&H Rumbox, 137 Western Main Road, St. James, for all your retail and wholesale needs for alcohol and non-alcoholic beverages. Call us at 686-0599 or visit us at 137 Western Main Road, St. James. S&H Rumbox, drinking out of the box.
This carnival, the seas are calling. Production Sounds and Ace Limers Entertainment presents Foreign Exchange. Foreign Exchange. A carnival season boat ride like no other.
I wanna be somewhere where the music is.
Sunday, February 8th, 2026. Hearts Cut, Shakarama.
Step aboard the Ocean Pelican and experience where soca meets the open water.
Boarding 7 p.m. Sailing 8 p.m. Music by Production Sounds.
DOC.
Kevin Baker, beats by Robin, Young Pro and Bounty the Voice, DJ Eldon, and featuring International Steven, all the way from the U.S.
Tier 1 tickets, $250. Tier 2 tickets, $300. Cooler included. No glass bottles allowed. Get your tickets now at islandetickets.com or call 29218-47.
Sunday, February 8th, 2026. Hearts Cut, Chakaramos, Foreign Exchange.
With your bad energy.
Advertise with us on New Era TT Radio, the fastest growing streaming platform for talk in Trinidad and Tobago. Audio and video ads welcome. Elevate your brand with us. Connect with us at newerattradio@yahoo.com or call us at 299-5156. Now what are you waiting for?
All right. You know what I hope for? Thanks. We back after the 8 o'clock news, guys. Just to respond to a couple comments in the chat. You're allowed to extempo, you know. We did say that, right? You're allowed to also extempo, right? So for the folks who say asking if we breaking the rules now, like the rules gone out the window, you are allowed to extempo, right? But just so that I wonder if the Prime Minister now and the government will be sufficiently upset at the police commissioner and his response to that shooting incident, that they may do something about it. And they may insist now that not that you should wear body cams, but you must wear body cams. I wonder if they'll be sufficiently upset. Because if you poll people in this country, they'll probably say that latest video with the police and the comments on the police commissioner raised enough negative sentiment against the government and this Zoso bill. Why it went down the way it went down, you know. You understand? I suspect.
What are you talking about? The Prime Minister has already said that the Zoso bill failed because the independent senators are bootlickers.
She said that after?
Yes.
No, that's
I didn't know that. I'm not aware of that.
She said it after the bill failed. You all don't follow news?
No, well, did that come on our news just now?
No, that is the updated news in the Guardian. I think you saw that story.
Oh no, I didn't see it. Richard.
That came out on social media yesterday after the bill failed.
No, I didn't see it.
She said it's exactly as I said, that they are bootlickers, and that's why the bill would have failed. She said she doubled down and said it's exactly what I said would happen.
Oh.
So you phrasing some sort of intellectual argument about the forcefulness and the justification of overreach of the TTPS as being some sort of intellectual justification that is going to play some part in the leadership does not hold water, because she started before the bill by saying certain inappropriate words with regard to independent senators, which we called out.
Yes.
And which a lot of people called out and felt was unfortunate, including independent senators themselves talked about it. And then, of course, you had the Commissioner of Police making certain statements that were not condemnatory of what we all saw in the video, that almost mirrored what is happening in Minneapolis. Obviously, this government, taking its cue and playbook from another administration outside of Trinidad and Tobago, is very much in tune with the kind of leadership that the Commissioner of Police is exhibiting. They have not said otherwise.
Well, they'll have to rethink that, you know, Richard.
They don't have to rethink anything, Wendell. They're in power for the next 5 years. When it's close to the end of the 5 years is when they will start to rethink, because that's when you want to be re-elected. But you're coming to the end of your first year. You still have 4 more to go.
Yeah.
And there are people who are in favor of those sorts of things. Hopefully a minority. And I think it's a minority, especially after they saw what happened with Joshua Samaru. I think that outraged citizens across all political lines and ethnic lines and social lines. But read the room.
Well, in the Guardian today, in this story, the part of it says that the PM said the independent senators have done irreparable damage to their bench. They have not an iota of credibility now in the eyes of the population, and asked if the government, and this is what he was asking Mr. Obika just now, if the government would adjust the legislation and bring it back to Parliament. But Sad Bissessar simply said no. She added, we have other plans that are ongoing and new ones to operational.
Right. So the Prime Minister can give her opinion because she's entitled to do so. But just because she says and she uses glib phrases like the population is disappointed does not make it so. A lot of the population were relieved.
I agree. That's right.
So just because you say it does not make it so.
Well, at the end of the day, too, there will be division on these things, too. Remember, at the end of the day, the Prime Minister speaks to her base, too. So those who would be supporting her and were looking out.
Even members of her base would not have wanted the bill to pass through surcharges.
I know that. What I'm saying is that there is a percentage of individuals who would have wanted it to pass. I am not saying that everybody would be, just like not everybody on the other side also would have wanted it to fail too. There may be others. We can't see those individuals. So we are just assuming there's no poll that shows us that is 100% of individuals who wanted and didn't want. So she's probably still speaking and has to speak to that base. Wherever they are and how many of them it is, she has to speak to that base.
The best gauge we have of public opinion is the fact that the how do you call it? Hold on.
Yeah. And why we haven't seen your picture alone up on the screen for so long? The picture of your grandson. Why? Take it off.
It's all right.
Yeah. I don't. Where do we go from here? You know what I mean? Because is it that the police so clueless as to how to deal with intelligence? You understand? There's that word again. And information gathering that they can't fix this crime problem in Trinidad and Tobago?
Well, clearly you can't, Wendell, because this is not a no problem. It's not a problem that spans administrations. So clearly, whatever skill set is required is not there. It's not there, and while we will hope that they will get it right. We know what is the compensation of the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service. We know we can't even basically, just like we're talking about the base, to say if the police service is 50% good and 50% bad. We don't know what percentage they work with. As in the case of when Mr. Griffin was there, you remember he said he had certain, and he wanted to introduce certain elite groups, so that when they have certain things to do, you are part of this group. We make sure that you do your the testing, polygraph testing, and you create a particular group of individuals that you can trust and you can work with. But how many persons in this police service can we say are like that?
There are plenty, man. There are plenty, but just that they are afraid to come forward. And they are afraid to deal with the rogues. That's the problem in the police service, Not the police service problem and the bad police officers, Is the good police officers who not doing anything?
Yeah, but it's like a cancer in our body, and eventually it has overrun the body. It does overrun the body and take you out at the end of the day. So if we can't find a way to treat with that cancer within that service, how can we get it functioning in at an acceptable level? You know, we have to find out if that is the case to strip it down. And clearly you see the individuals who then they know their power, and you have to find a way to reduce that and still be able to have a credible police service. And I think that is the biggest challenge that any administration, this one facing, and probably others in the past would have faced. You know, how do we get a functioning, up and running police service that the population can say that we really have faith and we are really comfortable, and we see that they are working in a particular way and they have our support. Public confidence in the police service has been
when the police service. The problem, Sir Charles, is policing has been, over the years, substandard in certain areas. Let me give you an example. Wendell had a big industrial fan stolen from by him. He had video footage of the theft taking place. He reported it to the police, gave them the footage, even the vehicle number of the car that stole an industrial fan. What has been the outcome? Nobody has been held accountable. When people are not held accountable for criminal activity, even as basic as somebody stealing a bicycle, which I have been privy to, a bicycle was stolen outside of my house from a friend of mine. There was a CCTV footage. He reported it. And they had the footage. Nothing came out of it. A friend of mine's phone was stolen. He could track the phone. He went to Besson Street. It tracked to C-Lots. He went to Besson Street said, no, you have to go to CID. He went back to CID say, no, you have to go back to Besson Street. They have to deal with that. He went back to Besson Street tell them they don't go in the back there to go get back nothing. Police don't go wrong in the back there. That is what citizens are dealing with.
Yeah, and I
so when people, if that is the problem, giving police more power in terms of saying let's abridge constitutional rights is illogical, because that doesn't mean you're going to get more efficient. It just means I'm giving you more power to be abusive to citizens when you have already shown from some. And I'm just giving a couple examples that I know, and I could give you more. You must have examples. Wendell, I know, have endless. People listening to this program right now would know of examples of people that would have suffered. I'm not saying that all of the time they're incompetent. Absolutely not. Sometimes they do good work. But there is a fundamental problem. And that fundamental problem translates into a poor public rating of the TTPS. The TPPS recognizes the Police Service Commission, does polls, and public trust in the TTPS is low. So if your public trust in the TTPS is low, how is it that giving them more power is logical? In what universe is that logical?
Yeah, but the thing about it also, Richard, and I agree with what you're saying, you know, but I'm just trying to understand also, where does the fix start and how do we get it done?
The fix start, you want me to say where the fix starts? The fix starts with probably one, they need a longer period in terms of recruitment. Obviously, the 6 months is not giving us the best police officers. So that's the first thing. They need probably better training and longer training to get to where we need to go. We probably need a lot of the stuff that in terms of using the technology in a more intelligent manner, in terms of the one operational center. Why it is, for example, a basic thing, Sir Charles, in Trinidad and Tobago, if we want the ambulance, we have to call 811. If you want the fire services, you have to call 990.
Yeah.
If you want the police, you could call 911, but you have to call 999. A simple thing of unifying the state response to a citizen's emergency, we can't get right yet.
Yeah, and you're right, and because when somebody is in an emergency situation, they can't remember all of that. All they want is one hotline number to connect you to all those services, you know. But as I said, I understand that, you know. I'm just saying, where does it really start? And at the end of it all, while we talk about fixing the police service in that kind of way, the reality of it also is that we have a crime problem.
Let me tell you how else you could fix it too. You want me to give you an example? Can I give you another example of how you could fix it?
Yeah.
Money is a great motivator. So you can simply say to the police service, at the end of the year, there is going to be a $5 million bonus to whichever police division has the largest decrease in crime. Now hear this. But out of that $5 million, $3 million is going to go to the officers. $2 million, they designate charities in that division that gets the money. In addition to which, citizens are sent in that area, are sent electronic surveys to see how was the police conduct in their area. Were they polite? Were they customer friendly? So it's not only just about the reduction in crime, but how it was reduced. Did they obey the law? Were they abusive? So the people in the community have a say, and that way, because money is a motivator, that particular division, whoever did it best gets $5 million. You want to bet me that you wouldn't see some improvement in the various divisions with regard to that?
I agree with you, Richard. You know, something along those lines, I remember when Dwayne Gibbs and Iwatsky were here. They tried something similar where the police officers would be out on the beat. They didn't want any police officers in the charge room. Go out on the beat, get outside, stop sleeping in dorms, get outside. And they had civilians dressed in blue shirts, I remember, at the charge rooms, and they would always have a survey there for you to do, and so on. That worked. Of course, when Dwayne Gibbs and Iwatsky was run out of town, they reversed that. But they were saying police officers need to be out on the beat in the communities, and every police officer was a community police officer. Remember, at one point in time, they used to have a separate unit for community policing, that police officers would walk the beat and go into communities and interact with people. Well, they throw that out too.
Yeah, I hear what Richard was saying, and maybe that's a strategy that could work. But I think what we need to try and do is, as I say, you can't perform an operation with dirty tools, and there are too many individuals in the service that we need to get out of the service. We need to find a way to purge the service of the rogue elements in between there. And if we can do that, I think that will be the beginning of a turnaround within the Trinidad and Tobago police service. But when we have people who come through the ranks, who started as constable 30 years ago, know all the areas where it's falling down, all the corruption, how it is being done, and then come to the head and don't really make any effort to change all of those things, that we're not going anywhere.
You know, police would, I don't know, some of them, I don't know what in their head. You know, the police issued a release the other day about wrecking. About if a driver is on the scene, you're not to wreck them. You have to ticket them or whatever. 2 days ago, there's a video of our car being wrecked. The man inside the car, the man run, jumping. They still back up on him and take the car.
Yeah.
Just 2 days ago. So what's the point? Sometimes what's the point?
That's it. So what? And so that police officer is not aware of that thing that was
You think
circulating.
they're not aware? They just, Sir
but that's
Charles, the average police officer you deal with, and I don't know how many you deal with, well, you get locked up and you get thrown in a jail once. But I'm just saying, they reach a point where there's no reasoning. They get so arrogant and powerful, they don't want to listen to no reasoning.
And that is the things that have to be put in place, Wendell. Because like when those kinds of things happen, that officer should have been before whoever is the head of the tribunal to be dealt with, so that because you are making our jobs very difficult by what you are doing.
Richard,
Yes.
hear me, Richard. Sir Charles, the police service is a cult. They defend one another down to the wire.
Yes, the
Even
blue
if
shirt.
it's to say nothing. Even if it's to say nothing, they defend one another. They go down, no, we can't do that. And you know what? A lot of senior officers are afraid of junior officers because junior officers, by one complaint to that senior officer, go put that senior officer in trouble. And the next thing you know, he get blacklisted, he can't get promoted, and nothing hurts a police officer than not being promoted and can't get a pension. You know? That is like a death knell to a police officer. You know? Oh, good, I can't get my promotion and I can't get my pension. Nah, you just end up police officer like me.
Yeah, well, I am hoping that somewhere along the line that we will be able to get, the persons that we are trying to get to have that conversation with them here, because that I think we need to seriously, unmask that situation and start to look at it and fixing it.
But they try. All governments have tried to fix that police service.
But then, if that is the case, we in real trouble.
Yes,
We in real trouble because at the end of the day, that system, and especially if that system is now working in tandem with the criminal elements on the payroll, helping to get things done, how are citizens going to survive in this country?
Because if it is, you have a simple thing of for example, lie detector tests that some police officers kick up a fuss against, even though I think as new recruits you have to go through it, right? But you also have the issue of rogue police officers. And who faces rogue police officers the most? The citizens, right? And if citizens report a rogue police officer in terms of what they have done, and it's not treated seriously because according to what Wendell just said, the culture of defending their own, then they're not serious about getting out those rogue police officers because of the consequence or the that's my batch mentality in terms of protecting the wrongdoing, which is why in my plan with the $5 million and $3 million going to the officers, $2 million to the charity, the survey is so important because out of that survey, you will get rogue police officers, and when rogue police officers start to affect your pocket and the possibility of whether you get a $20,000 bonus at the end of the year, then it becomes something more important to you. And I know people are going to say, well, the oath you took should be more important than money. Well, maybe, but you have to try new things. Yeah. And we all know that money is a motivator. It's a great motivator for human beings.
Yeah. Yep. Anyhow, guys, that's all we're going to leave us for this morning.
Before you go, show the video now, Sir Charles.
Sorry about that.
Wait.
It's for Wendell.
Let's go. Okay, let's go. Today you are marrying me today. 15 years dating me. 15 years dating me. You can't date me for 15 years. You can't date me for 15 years. 15 years dating me. Marrying me by force. You can't date me for 15 years. Yeah, you think I'm crazy? Yeah? The man of God is here. The man of God is here. You are marrying me today. You are marrying me today. Yes, yes, everything is here. Oh, you don't have an excuse. No excuse today. They're getting married today by fire by force. By fire by force. Their rings are here. Yes, the ring is here. The ring is here. Yes, yes, the ring is here. You're playing. When are you like to play? 15 years. 15 years. 15 years. Marry me. Put the ring. Put the ring faster. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
My brother, you don't have any reason to refuse this.
Yes.
By fire,
15 years.
And by publicly.
15 years.
I pronounce you husband.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
May you kiss the bride.
Yes.
Yes. Congratulations.
Yes.
Congratulations.
Now, yes.
Today.
Yes. Yes.
You
Man
are
of
the
God.
husband to this one.
Yes, man of God.
And you are the wife to
Yes.
this one.
Yes.
Let me pray for you.
Yes.
To strengthen this marriage.
Yes,
Father,
pray
in the
for us.
name of Jesus.
Ah.
From today I declare
Yes.
marriage in the name of Jesus.
Yes.
It is strengthened in the
Yes.
name of Jesus.
Yes.
The blood of Jesus. You are blessed. Nothing shall break this marriage.
Amen.
Nothing shall put it
Amen.
asunder. In Jesus' name.
Amen.
It is done.
Yes.
You are now husband and wife. Celebrate.
Thank you.
Yes.
By fire.
It is done.
Let's go. Let's go. Asante. By fire by force. They're playing you. 15 years. By fire by force. 15 years. Yeah, leave your face. Open your face. We're going for photos. We're going for
Look that.
You understand what
my-
I'm saying?
I don't know why I feel like you play back my life. Listen, the only successful marriage is between a deaf husband and a blind wife. That's the only marriage going to work. A deaf husband, we can't hear when that wife, because you see how that woman carrying on there? I may want to hear that at all. You see that kind of annoying voice in my head, so hold it. Oh God, I run in.
Yeah, 15 years you had the woman hanging on there. So,
She make sure she get married.
She make sure she do something about it.
We have to show that again Friday and do a little
They dress him on the pavement.
Oh, fella. Yeah, I did the face down in the end. Here she move up, don't hide your face. Oh, I wonder how many of our listeners or how many of people on the net on our show this morning went through that.
Dragged to the altar.
Man or woman, how many of you went through that? We'll find out on Friday.
You've been dragged before the altar. 15 years. Come down. Yeah. You can't be drinking the milk and I want the cow.
It's African people, it's people, most of these videos emanating from Africa, is they themselves doing it. And trust me, they're going viral with almost every video they do now. They're going viral. A lot of people who didn't know about Africa before, knowing about Africa through a lot of these videos, either educational information or entertaining. And a lot of them entertaining, especially the religious ones. They're very entertaining. You understand?
The continent large too, eh? That's how the music take off, you know.
Going viral out of the continent. That's right.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. But I love Speed, but was just there in Africa. Of course, he's very much followed. Mm-hmm. But he did 20 countries in Africa.
Mm-hmm.
Who's that? So I love Speed.
Okay, and Bodemeyer does a lot, but he does a lot of educational ones and tourist ones, you know? I don't have no problem with them. Some of them are absolutely, as you say, kind of clownish, but a lot of them are entertaining. You know? That one certainly was entertaining. I sure that remind real people of what they went through. That same video there. They may not have gone through the exact same thing, but trust me, there is a truth to being forced intermarriages. That's a reality for plenty people. Being forced into a marriage.
Well, as they say, when they test the water, all that kind of thing does happen. Anyhow, guys, that's what we have to leave it for today.
Yeah. Folks, have an absolutely wonderful day. Remember to let go and let God. Morning, Karen Yip now. And thanks for the chat today, people. Bye-bye.
All right, Richard.
Yes, just remember that New Era TT Radio continues on newerattradio.com and New Era TT Radio on TuneIn. Have a fantastic day. Remember to smile and laugh. It's great for your health. And we know you have a choice in what you watch and what you listen to. And we're glad you chose us. So thank you for your impeccable taste. We'll speak to you bright and early tomorrow morning, which will be Thursday. All right. So this is it. This has been The Breakfast Show.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. Wake up, it's a brand new dawn. The Breakfast Show got the vibes turned on. From Maracas Bay to the Savannah line. Let's start the day in Caribbean prime. Oh, good vibes rolling through the air. The Breakfast Show energy.